All right, we're going to get started. Thank you for everyone that came out tonight to learn about detoxification. We had a class at 4:30, and we had a great turnout and lots of fun. So this we'll do the same thing for this class as well. This is very casual. Ask any questions that you guys want to ask. How many of you joined us in October for Detox with your doc? Okay. So we'll be anxious to hear, any patient testimonials and how you did and what you liked about it. So this obviously is the second time we're putting on this class. We did it in October for the first time, and now tonight it's Detox with your doc, and we're really going to try to explain why it is important to do a detoxification. And Terry, our nurse practitioner, is going to fill us in on all of the details on the importance of this topic. But first of all, I just want to start out with explaining why it is important to detox. We do live in a very toxic world. We are exposed to 2.5 billion pounds of toxic chemicals per year. So they're everywhere. So they're in the pesticides that are on our food. They're in the products that we use on our skin. They're in our makeup, they're in our lotions, they're in the air that we breathe, they're in what we spray on our lawn. So there are lots and lots of chemicals that we are exposed to, and a lot of times we're not even aware that we are exposed to these chemicals, but their effects can be cumulative over time. So 80,000 chemicals, toxic chemicals, have been released into our environment since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. And very few of these chemicals have been tested for their long-term impact on human health. And there may have been some studies on certain chemicals, DDT and some of the big name chemicals, but the problem is when you combine these chemicals, the cumulative effects or the synergistic effects of these chemicals on our health have not necessarily been studied. So that is another thing we have to keep in mind. Now, one fact that I think is very frightening is that according to the Environmental Working Group, the average newborn baby, when they test the umbilical cord blood of a newborn baby, they found 287 known toxins in the blood of a newborn baby. And so you think a baby who is in a sterile environment should come into this world without any toxic exposure, but unfortunately the mother, her exposures to chemicals are being passed to the baby. And so if you think that over time, year after year, think of how many chemicals you are being exposed to. So I'm 43, and I think, okay, over 43 years, what is the toxic burden that I've been exposed to? And so another reason why we want to kind of expand your knowledge on the importance of detoxification. So one thing, too, that we always want to try to think about is the link between chemical exposure or the toxins that we are exposed to and their impact on our health and their impact on our developing a chronic disease, whether it be cancer or diabetes or heart disease, because that link is real, and Terry's going to expound on that. So like I mentioned earlier, Terry Polanin is one of our nurse practitioners, and she is going to be our speaker tonight. We're very blessed to have Terry with us. Terry is truly a joy to work with, and I'm so honored that she is part of our practice. She has taught me a lot of things in the short time that she's been with us. Terry has taught me a lot about compassion. She truly is one of the most compassionate people I've ever met. She has taught me about integrity, and most of all, she's taught me about the importance of balancing my career with my home life, with my family life. So for that, I'm truly grateful. I just can't thank her enough for the qualities that she brings to our practice. The other thing I don't want to forget to mention, a few housekeeping things. As you guys may know, we donate 100% of the proceeds of our class to charity. And the first class at 4:30, we donated to Lou Gehrig's disease, or ALS, the ALS Association. And this class we're going to donate to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So that's where your money's going. The other thing I don't want to forget to mention is we are having a blood drive Saturday, June 29th from 9 to 12. And we encourage and beg all of you to come out and donate blood. The American Red Cross is in we're in kind of a time that is very critical for the need for blood. We've had some natural disasters recently with hurricanes and tornadoes, and of course the unfortunate bombings in Boston. So the blood supply is somewhat at an all-time low. So I'm asking or encouraging all of you, if you can, please remember the blood drive and sign up. For anyone that does, we do try to incentivize it other than doing a really good thing. If you come and donate, you get a coupon, $20 off your next $100 purchase at the retail center. And lastly, before I turn it over to Terry, I just want to mention the remaining two cooking classes of the year, August 20th, cancer fighting foods. We're going to have a speaker from the Cancer Treatment Centers of America. She is going to come and talk about the link between the food that we eat and the potential link to cancer. So that will be a very, very interesting talk. And then October 22nd, Healthy Cooking for Your Kids and Grandkids. That's going to be led by Susan Waltrip, the registered dietitian at Hy-Vee, and that class will actually be at Hy-Vee. So just wanted to mention that so I didn't forget. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Terry.
Well, thank you all for coming, and thank you, Dr. Couri, for those kind words. I absolutely am sure that she has given me way more than I have given to her. And I think we're all here tonight because for one reason, one way or another, Dr. Couri has touched our lives. And I have been a nurse practitioner in Peoria now for about 32 years. I had an opportunity when I decided to go back to graduate school about 30-some years ago, to be in one of the first nurse practitioner programs in the area. And we really didn't know what we were quite all about, but I knew very strongly that I wanted to try to make a difference in people's lives by helping them to stay healthy and prevent health problems, medical problems, because I'd worked in intensive care and seen so many people that were there with things that I thought could have been prevented if they'd have known how or had made some effort and paid attention to their health care. So that's one reason I'm really enjoying doing this class. And when I was in family practice about 30 years, and about 2.5 years ago, Dr. Couri asked me to join her. And when I found out that there was a physician in town that wanted to restore health to women's health care, it just seemed like the perfect fit, and I really think it has been, and I can't thank her enough for all she gives to her patients, to our patients, to the staff, and to all of you and to the community, because it really is all of us trying to make a difference in helping others and ourselves to be healthy. So I want to know how many of you, raise your hand if you will, are here tonight. We're talking about the Detox, which is our second evening of doing that, and we focused the last time, which a lot of you apparently weren't here, which is good because then you won't be bored with this because I'm going to repeat some. But last time we talked about more of the medical reasons for doing a detox program. Tonight I'm going to focus on more of the preventive and health maintenance reasons that we think are important to do a detox. So I want to know how many of you are here tonight to help think about preventing health problems in yourself, changing some habits, maybe de-stressing, maybe starting some new habits, maybe trying to work on hormone imbalances or gut issues or stress or anything like that. Is anybody here for those reasons? Okay, good. If you are, great. If you're not, hopefully you'll get some information that you can take back and utilize. Let's see now. Hopefully this will work. Okay, thanks. I know we talked in the earlier class that this may seem a little overwhelming to you when you think about not only changing some of your eating habits, but embarking on a week of maybe eliminating some of the foods or drinks or things that you like to eat. We'd like to try to make this as stress-free as possible, as positive as possible. So I want you to know that it takes one step at a time. This was a picture, my mother is sitting here in the audience, and I went out to Colorado last summer, and this actually is a picture I took, and I'm so proud that I got it into my PowerPoint, which is pretty much of a miracle. But all I really want to say is that we only want you to do this a little bit at a time, one step at a time, and you begin to build a mountain by carrying one stone at a time. We also do believe in the Core Restore program and the Core Restore support. We have Kristen and Danny here tonight that are going to help us. They are representatives from the Core Support program, and we believe that you need to be conscious that there are a lot of detox programs and a lot of different supplements and things out there on the internet and out, and wherever. And you want to make sure that you are choosing one that is from a quality manufacturer, somebody that you trust, or providers that you trust to steer you in the right direction. And I think by the end of this week, you're going to feel great if you choose to go along with us. So what I want you to think about is the question, how is your health? There's a little story that talks about a little girl that her mother gave her a balloon tied on a string, and because she was a little too small or too young to be entrusted to carry the balloon, hang on to it, she tied it around her wrist. So then she kept the balloon, did fine with it, and then as she got a little bit older, her mom decided to give her another balloon, and she thought that she was old enough to be able to be trusted to hang on to the balloon and to take care of it. Well, what happened? One day she's outside playing or whatever, she gets distracted, she doesn't pay attention, she gets, kind of complacent like we all do with things, and what happens? The balloon goes up in the air, up into the sky, gone forever. And I think this is just a little analogy of how our health can be if we don't pay attention to it and to how we're taking care of ourselves and the choices that we're making. In one instant, it can be gone. And our bodies are pretty forgiving, and we can usually rejuvenate, barring being born with chronic problems. Most of us are born pretty healthy, although hearing Dr. Couri's story about the toxins that's in umbilical blood is kind of scary. But for the most part, we have two choices with our health. We can choose to control our destiny and make good choices with what we eat and drink and people that we're with and relationships, or we can just kind of get complacent and think, oh, I'm healthy, I'm okay, it'll be all right, and then someday wake up and think, oh my gosh, why didn't I do something differently? Because I'm dealing with all these diseases or problems. So what I want you to think about is, how is your health? And when people say to you, so how is your health? And you respond, oh, fine, I feel fine, I look fine, whatever. Is that really, really a good gauge of how healthy you are? Because you truly can't feel cholesterol building up in your arteries. Has anyone ever felt that, if they've ever had a high cholesterol? Or you most of the time can't feel your blood sugar going high or your insulin levels going high or abnormal cells growing. It's all silent killers. And a lot of times when what we're going to focus on tonight are the things that you can do to change that or to control that, and the toxins in our environment that are creating problems in our bodies. There's an introduction in the book. If you end up with the Detox kit, this is a little example of the kit, and there's a little book in it. And in the beginning, I just happened to be reading it this afternoon, and it really pretty much says what I'm trying to get across today. And it says, our health is one of the most valuable things we possess, and yet most of us spend little time understanding how to maintain our bodies in optimal health. Sometimes we don't pay attention to our health until it begins to fail. Thankfully, our bodies are forgiving. They can withstand quite a burden before they begin to fail, and given the adequate support, our bodies can recover from amazing amounts of damage. Unfortunately, we don't recognize the combined burden our environment, diet, lifestyle, and metabolic processes place upon our bodies each and every day. So just ignoring your health and well-being is really not a good thing. So what is good health? We believe it's much more than not being sick. It is actively and purposefully behaving in ways that leave you stronger, better nourished, less stressed, and more comfortable in your body and mind. And I want to take a second, too, to tell you that you have permission to forgive yourself for what's come before this day, because you cannot go back. You have to start right here. You cannot go back and blame yourself or beat yourself up for the ways that you ate or the times that you sat on the couch and didn't get out and do your exercise. You have to start today with making small changes that you can do to create a healthier life for yourself and to be in better health. The 6 leading causes of death in the United States are heart disease, cancer, stroke, lung disease, accidents, and diabetes. And about 70% of the deaths in the United States are caused by one of these following, except for accidents. And all of these are potentially preventable with healthy lifestyle changes and habits. How you live your life directly affects how your health is, and how you choose to care for your body directly relates to your risk for disease. So we're suggesting that you start with our detox program to help you to periodically cleanse your body and your liver of toxins and things that are leading to these diseases, and choose to eat healthy and have healthier lifestyle. Inflammation is another thing that if you're part of our practice, so you hear us talk about it, but there's more research and literature out on what is inflammation and what is happening in our bodies, because there's more and more research out saying that we are in bodies that are inflamed. And if you think about what happens when you cut yourself, the area gets red and swollen and warm and tender and inflamed, basically. All of the nutrients, if you're healthy, all of the nutrients and the immune responders all come to that area to try to heal it. What the research is suggesting is that the toxins, the things that we're putting on us, the things that we're breathing, the things that we're eating, the animals that we're eating that are exposed to all these different things, are causing inflammation in our bodies. And you look around and see we're an overweight society, and there's research that says that basically fat is a hormone causing inflammation, and this is partly what's contributing to the rise in diabetes and heart disease and cancer. So I want you to think about your own health, and you don't have to share this with anybody, but you look in the mirror. Do you look healthy? Are you really healthy? And some of the questions to ask that might be impacting whether you are or aren't are you eating fast foods? How many times a week? There's a study that says that women eat out at least 4 times a week in the United States. And most of the time, those are not you can choose healthy meals when you eat out, but a lot of times it's not. It's made with foods that are with bad fats and meat that's inflammatory. Do you eat out fast foods? Do you snack on foods from a bag or a box and turn the thing over and look at the label and you can't even understand what some of the words are because they're chemicals or preservatives or something? Who knows what that's doing to us? Do you eat 5 to 8 fruits and vegetables a day? That's really the recommendation. If you stop and think, oh my gosh, to get in even 5 sometimes is hard for a lot of people. My kids used to say, do fruit snacks count as a fruit? I don't think so. Getting 30 minutes of physical activity on most days. This is the recommendation from the the Surgeon General, and I would venture to bet there's a lot of people that don't get that. Are you stressed? Do you take time to de-stress? Do you do things to create balance in your life? Do you have healthy relationships? People that make you feel good, old friends that you haven't gotten with in the past. All these things will contribute. Do you drink 6 to 8 glasses of water daily? One of the ladies in the last class said, be sure and tell people they need to drink their water on the detox. You need to flush those toxins out. You'll be going to the bathroom a little bit more, but it's really important to prevent constipation and also to make the course support more effective. Do you smoke? Are you exposed to second or third hand smoke and the things that the toxins in that? I like butterflies, and I think they're a beautiful thing of nature, and they also represent a beginning. So I've thrown a few slides in here. Just living is not enough, said the butterfly. One must have sunshine, freedom, and a little flower. And balance in your life. I hope I didn't realize that Dr. Couri had noticed that, but I think that's really important, and it's not easy to do, to get a balance in your life. And a lot of times women especially, not to say that men don't, but don't take time for themselves or feel guilty if you do, and there's nothing wrong with that. Taking time with your families and balancing your work, and that, it's all really reducing some of the internal toxins and helping you to be healthier. There's a speaker, actually she's really becoming more famous, but her name is Chris Carr, and she wrote a book called The Crazy Sexy Diet. Has anyone heard of that? We've talked about it here. She's a lady that is probably in her early 30s now, and about 10 years ago found out she had an incurable liver disease that they told her they just didn't know what to do. There was nothing to do, just go out and live your life. So she decided to make changes in her life, and she did all kinds of research on what are the best things that you can do to live a healthy life, to boost your immune system, to fight diseases. And basically she started eating more of a plant-based diet and getting exercise. She got rid of her fast food and her cigarettes and all the different things that she was doing in her life in New York. And she is a fabulous speaker. Dr. Couri took us to a conference a couple of years ago, and we got to meet her and hear her talk. But anyway, she's got, in part of her book, she says, you deserve to be healthy. It's time to take charge of your health. If you haven't before now, it's time. Healthy habits will affect you positively in all areas of your life. Healthy eating and daily exercise can change your life. You have to just give it a little try. And to begin with a liver detoxification to be a jump start to health and healthier habits. We have a book that we're going to give away of hers tonight too. So here at the Couri Center, our detox is really more than a liver cleansing. It's really, we like to think of it as not a diet. I really don't like that word because it implies it's something that you go on and off. But it's a lifestyle. It's a holistic way to look at how you can make some changes that will improve your health. You don't have to do them all at one time, and I don't want you to feel like you have to, you have to do this, but we think it's really a good way to get started on any kind of healthy habits to nourish your body. And we want you to say, there were some people saying they were kind of overwhelmed and a little afraid to do it. We want you to say, okay, I can do this. It's the best thing to do. I have used to have posters in my exam room that said, what's my 5-minute rule? And basically it's getting people to just start doing any kind of physical activity that they can possibly do, even if it's 5 minutes marching in front of your TV while you watch the news at night. I've never had anybody say they can't do, well, if they can walk and all, they can't physically have time to do that because most everybody watches TV. So, it's just getting people to be more active. There's just little arm weights that you can use while you're sitting and watching TV. Little exercise bands that you can take wherever you go that can just give you some resistance and some stretching. You can always do a little walk. So we'd like you to think about something that you can start to do, even if it's 5 minutes every other day this week or when you start the detox. But I do want to say, when you're doing the detox on the first couple of days, that are going to be some pretty significant changes for a lot of you. We don't want you to overdo your exercise because you might feel a little more tired and not quite as energetic. And so don't go out and decide you're going to start training for a marathon or anything. Just take it easy, but do start to think about some ways that you can add exercise into your life. What is a detox? Well, we've talked about a few things, but it's basically the removal of toxic substances from the body or cleansing of the body. I like to think of it as kind of a filter change. And Dr. Couri talked about the polluted world that we live in. And so our liver is what filters everything. And if it is clogged with toxins and inflamed, the toxins just continue to build up in addition to the poor eating choices and the lack of exercise and water and things. We eat about 30 to 50 tons of food in our lifetime, if you can imagine that. And so if they're not the healthiest foods, think what that's doing to us. So what the caterpillar calls the end, the master calls the beginning, and I'd like you to just think about this as the beginning of some changes that you're going to make. Why are we so excited about the detox? Well, we've talked and your handouts have got some more detail on the medical reasons about improving your hormone balance, reducing the toxic burden on your liver. It's been utilized for people that have gut issues, stomach issues, elimination issues, because you will be eliminating certain food groups during this week, and people find that they feel better once they start eliminating certain things, and we've got some people here that are going to testimony to that for me tonight. And we're talking more about food sensitivities, chemical sensitivities, and all these things can be brought out during the detox. But what I'm wanting you to take away from this tonight is that you don't have to have all of those or any of those issues. You can just do this as a kind of a health maintenance filter change like you do for your car every 6 to 12 months. And I think it'll help to reduce this toxic burden on your liver as time goes on. Plus, we think you'll feel better. These are some of the medical reasons. I've kind of alluded to some of them, but these are some of the medical reasons that you might have that would be helped by a detox. Cholesterol, overweight, allergies, fatigue, emotional things, thyroid conditions, hormonal imbalances, frequent infections, joint aches, frequent colds, food sensitivities, things like that. If you do have any of these things, it just might be that you would benefit by a liver detoxification program. Dr. Randall Marshall from the Virginia Commonwealth University stated that 50% of all cancers are chemically related and 30% of all illnesses may be traced to toxins and chemicals. That's a pretty startling slide, I think. And as Dr. Couri said, you know, your daily burden of toxins is not probably that great, but over time, as it accumulates, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, however many years you live, that's what we worry about. And so if every 6 or 12 months you can kind of unburden your liver, that's what we're suggesting to help prevent premature aging and creation of inflammation in your body. So what is a toxin? Any substance that can have harmful effects on the body. When the toxins exceed our liver's ability to remove them, they build up, especially in the fat. They're stored in the fat, they're attracted to fat, and cause inflammation. Some of the things in our environment that are, you know, I think, you know, are pretty common sense. You see polluted air from factories, auto exhausts, cleaning products, heavy metals, pesticides, insecticides. I was telling the first group that my husband and I were sitting out on our deck last weekend, and we have a new neighbor, a very nice lady, but she's fixing her yard up, and all of a sudden there was like this just cloud of wet, smelly pesticides, basically, that she was spraying all over her yard that was coming right at our deck and all over our yard. I could taste it, we could smell it, and I was thinking, oh man, this is a perfect example of just what we're talking about, you know, trying to reduce that. And of course, there's a lot of things that you can't do anything about. Then there are internal toxins. You may think about the external ones. I love the little guy there. I didn't know he shouted when I put him on there, but he's pretty cute, pretty stressed out guy. Anyway, back to there, you know, our bodies have infections, we have metabolic reactions, we have stress, things internally, unresolved trauma, abuse, unhappy relationships, all those things can build up in our system. They can create hormones that act upon our system and cause inflammation and potentially damage to our bodies, premature aging. What I'd like you to do before you start the detox, if you choose to do that, is there's a questionnaire in your packet. It's called our detoxification questionnaire, and I'd like you to just fill it out. If you're going to do the detox with us, do it before you do the detox and then 7 days later to kind of compare. People that, let's see here, people that have less than 15 have a pretty low level of inflammation. People that have 16 to 46 have about a moderate level, and anything over 50 is a pretty high level of inflammation. So take a look at where you fall and see if you would benefit by the detox, and then repeat it at the end when you're done. Oops. So who's a good candidate? Anybody that really needs a filter change or wants to try to promote a healthier liver and body. Anyone that's exposed to tobacco, alcohol, caffeine, medications, industrial chemicals, all these things go through the liver. Overweight people, people with hormone imbalances, I've already talked about some of these other things. The roles of the liver, it's an amazing organ. It filters the blood, stores sugar for energy, which we all need, breaks down hormones, secretes bile and produces bile to help with digestion, and it's the primary organ of detoxification and filtering toxins from our body. It has to take things that are fat soluble and turn them into water soluble so that they can be excreted through urine or bowel. One thing that I want to point out on this slide, though, is we need nutrients to do this. You can't just use the core support powder and go on eating at McDonald's every day, for not to really diss them, but anyway. You have to eat healthy and have the vitamins and the nutrients because your liver needs those to detox. And so the vitamins are in the core support kit. This is the kit, if you get it. There's the... this is the detox supplements. These are the really good vitamins, and that will help to enhance the detox. We want you to be safe. I've said this before, we believe in the Core Restore Kit. We think that it will restore healthy digestive function, remove the toxins, help you feel better. We want you to be safe with it, though, and there are a few rules that we want you to check with your healthcare provider. If you're under 18, it's not really recommended so much in pediatrics. If you have any eating disorder, if you have type 1 diabetes or uncontrolled adult onset diabetes, if you have any kidney or liver disease, gallbladder disease, appendicitis, if you're a senior over 65, and we definitely do not, it's not recommended during pregnancy or with nursing a baby. So how does one become a butterfly? You must want to fly so much that you're willing to give up being a caterpillar. And I think you have to be willing to maybe give up a few fast foods, give up your couch a little bit to get off and do a little exercise, to maybe go meatless for a few nights a week. If you're not thinking that you could, go more plant-based diet, just a few days a week where you cut out meats or you come up with some alternatives, which by doing this detox, you will be on it is a meatless eating plan for just a week. And there's lots of recipes that you will see that you'll feel better and you can have just as much energy as when you're eating the meat products. Just takes a little bit of gumption. So in your handout, I typed up, in the booklet has got instructions, but I thought I would give you some tips of things that helped me and have helped our patients and staff here. Basically, on the first 2 days of the program, you'll be having 2 scoops of the powder with water and either frozen or fresh fruit. You'll be doing that twice a day with the vitamins, the alpha-based vitamins. The booklet will say you could fast if you want to, which means not having any food. We kind of think that you'll feel better to modify that and have fruits and vegetables, whatever you want, fruits and vegetables. I think you'll feel better and it won't be quite such a drastic change, and that's perfectly fine. In the beginning, the first couple of days, some people do feel a little tired, a little irritable. One lady at the last meeting said she was so irritable by the second or third day that she went to buy a truck with her husband, and she was so grouchy to the guy, she just told him, I'm not going to pay for anything other than this amount of money, and we're out of here. She said, I was so irritable, and it got her a car at less cost, a truck at a less cost. So I'm not saying that's what we want, but I felt fine on the first few days of it, or the whole week of it, but these are possible side effects that you might have. You also might be going to the bathroom a little bit more, so start it on the weekend in case you're not at work.
One thing too, Terry, is I think the first few days, the more toxic you are, the worse you will feel the first few days. So if you're really tired, you get just a splitting headache, or you're grouchy, or you're just feeling kind of sluggish, or even mild flu-like. I mean, flu-like is not even that drastic, but that could be because you are holding on to a lot of toxins, and now you are purging them, and your body's kind of going through, obviously,
The change.
what you want it to go through. But, so you may feel a little worse if you're living on fast food, and you're living on foods out of a box or a bag, and you're living on 5-hour energy drinks, and then you go to detox.
It's quite a change.
A little change.
Yeah. That reminds me too, if you drink caffeine coffee, don't cold turkey it with coffee either. If you're going to do the detox starting this Saturday or whatever Saturday you decide to do it, start weaning yourself off coffee if you drink it like in the morning, or go, half coffee, half decaf, just so you don't get to the day of the detox and all of a sudden you haven't had your 2 or 3 cups of coffee. I'm looking at my mom, and decide that, oh my gosh, because you'll have a horrible headache, probably so. Then on days 3 through 7, this is what gets into the main part of the program. You'll still have your 2 scoops of Core Restore powder, water, and fruit. You'll have your vitamins. You'll add the Core Restore PhytoCore capsules that helps with the detoxification pathways in the liver. You'll also be able to have fruits. Again, you'll still be having fruits, vegetables, nuts, brown rice, quinoa, and I'll step off the mic here in a second and tell you about that. Beans, herbs, if you grow your own, great. If not, you can buy, or preferably organic herbs, spices. Plan ahead. I would say that's one of my biggest suggestions, is to go do your grocery shopping, and there's a grocery shopping list in the book. There's also a list of things to buy and foods to eat and all that. Get yourself organized so that you have the foods that you need when you start this program. If you haven't heard of quinoa, and I hadn't a couple years ago. It's a wonderful whole grain that, I should step by the mic for Raphael. It's a wonderful whole grain that is good protein. It's low glycemic. You can use it in place of rice or pasta. And I use this as a staple, and I have for a while now. Just make up, it's basically a cup of quinoa with 2 cups of water, boil it. It gets kind of little like seeds. You can put a little olive oil in it, grill or bake some veggies, mix it together, and you've got, lunches or dinners. I'm sure Dr. Couri has other good suggestions to put in it, but I'm not the gourmet cook she is. So hopefully you'll feel really good by, once you get to day 3 to 7. More energy. You may still be going to the bathroom a little bit more, but that's okay. Kristen is going, oh shoot. What are you just pushing that? It goes to sleep on. It goes like that. Just push this enter this, There we go. Thank you. Kristen will show you, and you tasted some of the shakes, but I would encourage you to add different fruits and vegetables, even if you want to, into these shakes, because it'll make it more pleasant and you'll enjoy drinking them. What I do suggest is that you get a blender, put your water in first, put your 2 scoops of your Core Restore powder, blend that up so it gets nice and mixed up. Add a banana, frozen or fresh. Kristen uses frozen, which makes it, a little colder, and that's good. Frozen or fresh fruits. We're making a triple berry one that's got raspberry, strawberry, blueberries in it, and the banana, we're making a tropical mango, peach, pineapple one. I think you can, be creative, but you can get frozen fruits or you can do the fresh, whichever you want. It should be smooth and kind of thick and cold, and that'll make it taste better. Foods that you're going to be avoiding for this week only is grapefruits and oranges, gluten-containing foods, wheat-containing foods, refined flours and sugars, meat, dairy, and cheese products. You can't eat goat cheese if you so wish to, but no meat or dairy products. No peanuts, processed foods, caffeine or alcohol, or corn or soy products. Partly the philosophy behind this is that we're trying to eliminate foods that might be affecting the gut, might be causing you to have symptoms to inflame the liver. And so it may seem a little restrictive, but once you start thinking about the recipes and things that you're gonna cook, and you get some staples, it's doable. Foods that increase detoxification are your berries, bananas, apples, any kind of fruits, any kind of vegetables, including potatoes, which are favorites of mine, except corn and soybeans, or anything canned in sauces, brown rice, whole grains, quinoa, nuts and seeds, anything except peanuts and soy nuts. And they're good staples too. I find that the protein shakes really give me great energy. I still drink them now, even after the detox, in the morning for breakfast. And then maybe mid-morning have a few almonds or walnuts or something, and you're good till you can get to your lunch at whatever time that is. Other foods, herbs and spices, no ketchup or barbecue sauce, at least this week, because it's more processed. Almond, rice, or coconut milk, EVOO, grapeseed oil, coconut or flaxseed oils. Just avoid your butters or anything, made with animals, oleo, cooking sprays, mayo. Filtered water is best. 100% fruit juice or vegetable juice. If you want to put some juices in there, that's totally fine. Kristen's got some green juice there that she'll maybe make you up something with. You're just avoiding your meats, your eggs, your fish, and your fried foods. Now, some people do go on, and it is allowed if you want to go on and do the detox for 4 weeks, 2, 3, or 4 weeks, 1, 2, 3, or 4 weeks. If you do, then after week 2, you can start to add in organic meats if you want to do that. Avoid artificial colors, flavors, preservatives, MSG, equal, saccharin, all of those things. If you want to sweeten, something, use stevia. It's a liquid, little bottle of liquid that's more natural. Helpful hints, I think I've talked about most of these. If you want, most people, in fact, Danny said he did a program a few weeks ago, and thinking about weight loss, if you're interested in that, which a lot of us are, he said that people lost 5 to 10 pounds in the first week. I haven't had quite that much experience, but if you do want to count calories, there are some good apps on your phone. If you have a cell phone that can get apps, a smartphone, one called Lose It, one called myfitnesspal.com, and one called Videogenique. And it's a really good way if you're trying to really watch what you're eating to keep track of your calories, your intake, and your output. And these are free apps that are actually really quite handy to use, and they'll give you some really great information if you take it to the grocery store and you want to see how healthy something is, especially the Videogenique will tell you about that. And they do, especially the MyFitnessPal will document your exercise too if you do that. The Couri store is really not designed for long-term weight loss, although you certainly can use some of the principles of the program to go on with. If you smoke, we'd love to help you quit that. If you can, we'd like you to at least cut down and get down to about 50% of what you normally smoke when you're doing the detox. Dr. Couri talked about the side effects, which are temporary, but if you notice any and they don't go away, let us know. On page 22 of your Couri store booklet, you'll find, this is the booklet, you'll find a lot of foods to include, foods to avoid, more than I even put up there. There's also some really great recipes, so if you're not used to cooking meatless, you may want to look into some of these recipes. I really like the stuffed pepper one. That's very simple to make. You just get green peppers, make up some quinoa or some wild rice, grill up some peppers, red, yellow, green, onions, tomatoes, throw it together, bake it. It's done when you get home. If you do things like that and make it up ahead of time, you'll be more successful, I think. The black bean salad's good, guacamole, there's a recipe in here, rice and beans, soups. I mentioned to the last group that we do recognize that we are working people and have lots of things to do besides cooking. So if you can't make up the soups or some of the things ahead of time, there's an Amy's organic soup that you can get, I know at Hy-Vee anyway, I've gotten it there, that it might be something just to have on hand just in case you get caught and you don't have anything to eat. Some of the other staples that Leslie and I were talking about that we use, Leslie is our personal trainer and nutrition consultant. I think many of you know her. Hummus and veggies. Hummus is, if you haven't tried hummus, try it. It's made with chickpeas, and it's a very high protein. It's just an excellent way to eat veggies, and then you don't have to feel like you have to dip your chips into something. You've got your veggies and hummus. Baked potato, my favorite, with a little salsa added onto it. Sweet potato fries, if you can make your own, even better, but if you can't, then try to get sweet potato fries that don't have any other things added into it. My grandmother and my mom, even today, sitting in the audience, made some of Ma's recipe of vegetable soup, which my grandmother used to always, and my mom too, would just put carrots, potatoes, celery, onions, green peppers, a little tomato sauce, and meat, although my mom made it meatless today, and just throw it into a crock pot. And then, it's cooked and ready when you get home at night, or you can have it for your lunches. Bean burgers are also good. If you've not ever had a vegetarian bean burger, there's some recipes in here if you're ambitious and want to make your own, or you can buy them. There are organic bean burgers too. Apples and berries are good. Rice cakes and almond butter. You can even throw some almond butter on apples, and that's good. Those are good snacks, things to have. I would encourage you to plan your meals ahead. That's one thing I try to do on the weekend, is look ahead at what my week's going to be like, and especially with the detox, so you don't get home and think, oh my gosh, what am I going to, what are we going to have? And you have foods that you can take with you to lunch or whatever. There are, in this booklet too, there's sample menu selections. You'll see there's breakfast choices, lunch, and dinner. You can kind of mix and match. If you plan it out, you'll be glad you did, I think. So the goals of our program are to remove the burden of unhealthy diet and lifestyle, to restore the liver by drinking the purified water, eating the detox-friendly foods, drinking the core support, and to revitalize the liver by adding the PhytoCore capsules. We also feel like this really is a jump start to healthy eating, exercise, weight loss, introducing you to the toxins that we're exposed to and the value of doing a periodic detox, which is really a good thing. I think too that once you start to take control of some of your maybe less healthy habits, you feel better about yourself. I would be willing to bet that by the end of the week, when you're done with this, you will feel better about yourself because you've made some positive changes. You're physically feeling better, I think, and you'll be glad that you did it, and that'll improve the way you feel about yourself. You can be a role model for your family and friends, tell others about it. We really feel that it'll improve your overall well-being, and we believe that it's important to teach this to other people and to help maybe our government make changes in the foods that we're eating. So I think those are all the benefits we've talked about. So today is the first day of the rest of your life. And if you'd like to start with us June 15th, Dr. Couri we're going to do Detox with Your Doc. She's going to be starting with us. And if you can't do it June 15th, that's fine. Plan a time that you can. I told people when I was first starting to decide, or the first one I did, I could not find a weekend that we didn't have a wedding or somewhere to go or somebody coming or something because I wanted to drink a little wine. And I was not going to start my detox and then drink wine the first day. So plan around that, social occasions so that you can be successful and you can stick to the program. Plan ahead, get your groceries, make your things up ahead of time, prepare your family, because they may find that this is a little different than they've been eating. And if you're the main cook, involve them. Decide to start a little walking program and think positively about it rather than thinking, oh my gosh, I got to do this. This is really a good thing to do for yourself and your family. Dr. Couri did a fabulous job emailing to people on our Facebook website. She will also, I think that it'll be on our, what did you say? It wouldn't be, it would be on Facebook and our website.
It's on the Couri Center Facebook page, but it's also on the CouriCenter.com, just our
Website. Yeah.
So if you're not on Facebook, you can just go to our website. So we put daily blogs and daily recipes and motivational little tidbits to keep you kind of in that mindset of why you're doing this. So I do it along with you because I'm not asking my patients to do anything I wouldn't do, so I'm going to detox along with you guys, and it's fun. It was probably one of the funnest weeks.
Yeah. I think you called the Detox Divas.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a fun thing if you can do it with
The other
us.
thing
so.
I just want to mention too, when you're doing the detox, and I'll come over to the mic.
Yeah.
When you're doing the detox, try to think of it as not what you're giving up, because I think when you go into it with that attitude, like, oh my gosh, I can't have meat, I can't have a hamburger, I can't have pizza, I can't have this, I can't have that, then you all that negative energy is really kind of bringing you down and you're setting you up for failure. So don't think of it as what I can't have. Think of all of the things that you've never tried before that you get to have, and all the things that are. Look around at the grocery store at the fruit and vegetable section and buy a different fruit or vegetable every single day that you've never tried before. So think of it as a whole new world of eating, of things that you've never done. And believe me, you will never go back to the way that you ate before. If you're not eating this way now, you'll never go back to your current eating habit after you do this, because eating clean and eating this way is just absolute rejuvenation for your cells. Your cells will come alive, your brain, you'll think clearly, you'll have more energy, your focus is like laser focus. I mean, it's amazing how much better you'll feel. So, okay.
One thing that I should also mention, somebody asked at the last class, was we definitely want you to continue your prescription medicines. Definitely keep on your prescription medicines, but you will, if you choose to do this, you will just be using the supplements, the vitamins and the supplements in the kit. You won't be using any other supplements for this week only. And then after that, you'd go back to them. But don't stop your blood pressure medicine or anything like that to do it. So. As I said, you can do it for a month if you want to. We would like you to maybe take away from this week, like Dr. Couri said, some healthier habits, things that are making you feel good by eating them, following a healthy eating plan, a Mediterranean eating plan, becoming part of our TLC program. It does take a community, we believe, to keep us healthy, including our government and people promoting healthy habits and making foods that are healthy for us. And so if we can help you along this way, we want to do that. So please let us know if we can. The quality of your life may be how you live day to day, but living longer and happiness are associated with a lifetime of healthy habits. And that's all we're asking, is that you maybe consider one or two little things that you're going to make changes in: taking care of yourself, meditating, taking a walk, eating a meatless meal once a week. Something that you're going to do is all we're asking of you. Because we really do believe that good health is much more than not being sick. This was a slide I had on my last show, and I decided last fall, and I decided to bring it back. It is 10 birds on a wire. And if you see 10 birds on a wire and 5 of them decide to fly away, how many are left? It is a trick question. It is a trick question. Anybody? 10 birds are left, because deciding and doing are two different things. So they may have decided they were going to fly, but so far they haven't. You may decide that you're going to do a detox, the Couri Store detox, but doing it is what we really want you to do, because we think it's the best thing for you. A healthy liver is a happy liver. And one last little butterfly slide. Beautiful and graceful, varied and enchanting, small but approachable, butterflies lead you to the sunny side of life, and everyone deserves a little sunshine. It'll give you good vitamin D, it's anti-inflammatory, and we hope that that will be part of your week. I have somebody that has offered to speak tonight, one of our clients here, Lisa Titoff. She is a great testimonial for how this program has done for her, so she's willing to talk to you, and I will step away and let you do that.
I decided to come to Dr. Couri's office. My previous doctor that helped bring my children into the world was not really equipped to help me with the next phase of my women's health. And I really wanted somebody who believed in natural medicine and could help me manage this phase. And I had all of the symptoms. On the one slide, I had insomnia, inflammation. I had spent 6 months working really hard to lose weight and couldn't. And in fact, some weeks when I was exercising every day and eating the right amount of calories, I gained. And I was so frustrated. And plus I had joint pain and wasn't sleeping. And so that's a bad combo right there. That'll make you crabbier than the detox. So I came and I talked to Terry and decided to do the whole TLC program. And the detox was the beginning of that. And the first thing I noticed was that I didn't have joint pain in the morning, probably 2 days in. And I thought, man, could the joint pain really be related to food that I'm eating? That was very encouraging to me, the thought that I could not have joint pain every morning, feet pain when I step my feet down. That was probably from inflammation in my body. And I don't know if I would have gone to just a regular my regular MD, he probably would have told me I had fibromyalgia and given me medicine. And so now I don't have joint pain, and I'm just, I've since learned I have some food sensitivities, and so I'm avoiding those foods, and I've been able to lose weight, not super fast, but it is coming off, and I am feeling so much better. And so I'm very grateful. I think that, when you have something that's valuable to you, as it gets older, you take better care of it. And you ask better questions about what it needs to remain well. And I think, taking care of ourselves when we're younger is easier. If we want to look good in a dress, we just exercise harder and eat less for a week and we're good to go. But once we get a certain point, that doesn't work anymore. So we just need, and it's good for us to take good care of ourselves. As part of my faith, I've been a person who's fasted, and so I think some of that carried over for me into doing the detox. In that, just asking other questions. I think that's a good part of the detox, is just asking yourself questions. What are some of the negative things I'm thinking? I think one of the things I uncovered for myself was that my mom and my aunties, to me, dieting and exercise was punishment for being bad. And so I had a mental block about really embracing that with joy. And so being able to identify that, and just, my new frame of mind is that it is my privilege to take care of my body. And so when you invest in that, whether it's with the detox or just the choices you make every day, or just being quiet and blessing your healthy mind and your body that heals, that's also a good part of the detox. I know you mentioned that a little bit earlier. I know that was really helpful for me.
Thank you so much. I knew she would give you a motivational speech, because I love seeing her all the time, and you've been a blessing, and we do send our prayers with you, because what you're doing is wonderful. So, Kristen and Danny, maybe from Ortho Molecular, the people that are representing the Couri store, might have a few words that they'd like to share, and then Kristen's going to show you how to make one of the shakes, or some of the shakes, so that you can make them as tasty as possible.
I had my notes up here, but they were on a card. That's okay. Yeah, I did.
You can probably wing
Where
it,
are
Kristen.
they? They'd love to hear that.
Do you want to stand here by the mic?
Am I mic'd? Yep. Okay. So I want to say that this program is near and dear to my heart. I'm the rep for the company, so is Danny, and I've done the program 7 times. We've had it about 4 years. So it's something that you're going to want to do a couple of times a year, at least once a year. And the very first time I did it, did the program to a T. 3rd day I was really crabby. That was my day. And then I went back to eating just like I did before. Just was like, okay, I did it. We're gonna sell this new product. Had to get that done to say I've done it. And then I was hearing about all these other people in our company that were having great results. And I was like, oh man. So I went back and I did it the next time for 3 weeks, which you don't have to do. I just really wanted to do it seriously. And then I introduced the foods back in one at a time. So that's what you're gonna wanna do is maybe on day 8, say, all right, I gave up gluten-containing products. Let me eat that and see how I feel. And so you wanna look at how does food make you feel? And your body won't lie to you. So I realized fatigue. When I eat gluten, I get tired. Does anybody get tired at like 3 o'clock after lunch? Every day I did. I thought that was how life was, and it isn't. So I can tell now when I eat something and I'm a little tired, unless I worked too late the night before, it's my body's telling me something. And so I know it has everything to do with what I eat. Dairy is another thing I realized, like the second day I introduced in dairy, and I could tell within 20 minutes I got congested, I was bloated, constipated. I thought, okay, this isn't like how I was before, so check that one off the list. And to me, feeling that way isn't worth eating the food, to me. You may not care. And sometimes I'll cheat and I'll say, I'm gonna pay for this. And then it's never worth it, ever, never, never. I don't know, do you ever? No, okay, well, Dr. Couri's perfect. I don't know if y'all know that.
Somebody has fooled.
But the other thing I want to say is I'm really into smoothies, and you drink your Core Restore drink every day, and I don't know if you guys, anybody here makes smoothies. You definitely do your smoothies every day. And so one way, she said getting in 5 fruits and vegetables is very tough. I couldn't agree more. I'm a salesman, I'm on the road, but I drink them. And so I invested in a Vitamix. It's my Vitamix over there. And I'm gonna make you guys some more smoothies. But I say, if you as you build up, throw as much fun stuff in there as you can. Dr. Couri just tonight said putting an avocado in there. And I thought, gosh, I'm gonna try that. Maybe don't do that up front, work your way into it. But frozen is my favorite because I like it cold. So any frozen fruit. And then now I'm big into lots of spinach and lots of kale. And I know it sounds really gross, but you won't taste it. You don't know it's in there. And then everybody's gonna go, well, what is that you're drinking? Smells good, but it looks gross, right? And then you're just like, yo, I'm healthy and you might try it. And then I guess, last but not least, I just really want to encourage you to move. The program does, she mentioned that about even just 5 minutes a day. But there's a research study, a very well-known research study that showed that if you just walked 30 minutes a day, and it was just 5 days a week, that your risk, thank you, I'm like, I know there's a word, that your risk of developing diabetes was 100% less than the drug group, than the metformin. So people who were on metformin, it was double the results is what I'm trying to say. So move, just move. And all the research was just done on brisk walking, 30 minutes. So maybe if you're having a phone conversation, you can do it with, that way, or grab your friend. So that's all I wanted to say about that. Did you want to add anything, Danny, or? And I'll make some smoothies here in a bit.
That'd be great. One other thing that I am supposed to say is that if you would like to get the Core Restore kit tonight, there's a $25 off of the kit if you get them tonight or tomorrow. Right, Rhonda? Mm-hmm. Okay. So they're $75 tonight or tomorrow if you want to get them today. Anybody else have any?
How many days does the kit last?
It's a week. That's just 1 week. Yes, yeah. There are little coupons in I think in your booklet there, that if you want to continue on with the detox program, that you can use the coupons to get a discount on just the powder, so you don't have to buy the kit every time if you were going to go on. So, okay. Any other comments or any questions?
I forgot to say one last thing. Someone asked me this at the end of the protein powder that I'm gonna be mixing in with the smoothie. She said, what is it for? Is it just a protein powder? I thought that was a really good question that we didn't address.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want me to do? Okay. So essentially, it is a sequester or an extractor of toxins. Those are the ingredients in there. There's clays and there's nutrients that are going to support your liver, but they're going to literally pull out the toxin and then allow your body to then put it into the bile and into the stool and get rid of it. So that's the purpose. And then you're also getting the multivitamin with vitamins and minerals. And then the other product that comes in there helps that whole process of moving the toxins out of the cells so that it can get filtered through the liver and then out of the body. And it is not in a, oh my gosh, I have to run to the bathroom, sort of way. Very safe, very normal, wouldn't you say? Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is the book by Chris Carr, The Crazy Sexy Diet, that we're going to give away, and Dr. Couri's got Shauna Musselman. And then we've got some little bags to take to the farmer's market or to the grocery store. Oh, Lisa, you get. Should I just? Yeah, go to Israel.
So, smaller group, I
And
might
then
be
we've
able to
got
get
the
away with
Clean
just one.
Food Personal Guide to
So
Eating.
maybe like to there.
Here.
Oh, I'm gonna be, well, I'll pour it.
She's going to start our TLC program. And we have one more little produce bag. Oh, well, there you go. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so I used almond milk. Does anybody have an aversion to almond milk? You do, okay. Well, we can make you something else. Yes, exactly. And
Mention it. Terry had mentioned water, which is fine, but
what do you mean?
let's break it down. Almond milk. I mean, like with these, don't you think it's so much better? When,
Absolutely. Go.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
I mean, you can do water and filtered water, but honestly, I think it's good. The smoothies are so much better with like almond milk, or you can do coconut milk. But,
Rice milk, even. Mm-hmm.
but the thing of it is, remember, almond milk can sometimes be really sweet. Like it's now almost like a dessert drink. They've got a lot of sugar in some of them. So just read the label, buy the unsweetened. Right. Because otherwise you're getting a lot of added sugars that you don't need. It tastes really good, but it's not really. It's not right. It's too sweet, and it's kind of negating what we're doing on the detox.
So okay, so make sure you get the unsweetened. I like the unsweetened vanilla almond milk. So 2 scoops, and I like mine to be runnier, so I use about 10 to 12 ounces instead of 8. And then in this blend, which you're gonna wanna try to get organic frozen fruit, and if not, it's not the end of the world. But I have a tropical blend here, so it's got strawberries, peaches, mangoes, and pineapple. Doesn't that look good?
That's from Sam's Club.
It tastes good too.
Good advertisement.
That's what Tim got this for us. Her husband was very helpful. And that's it. So I'm just gonna blend this up. Frozen fruit is always best, in my opinion. And then, I don't think so. Look at how, see, you don't even have to add ice, and I'm just gonna try it to make sure. Perfect.
We can pour if you want to make the next one.
Okay. I'll do it with the Ninja then.
Okay.
So you said that was a protein powder?
It has protein in it, but it is the detox powder. And it's got so much stuff going on in there. That's why she was essentially saying, use a coconut milk, use an almond milk, use frozen fruit. Do something to it. You could just drink it by itself with water, and inevitably, how many people say, oh, I tried to drink it and I just mixed it with lukewarm water, and we told them, or they probably were warned, hey, why don't you do this and this and this? It's not that it's disgusting, but it is, yeah. But you'll see when you drink it like this, it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. You had a question?
Yes, number one, who do you work for? Who owns your company? And is everything made in the United States of America?
I work for Orthomolecular Products. Let's see, I'm trying to remember what you asked me. Okay, I work for Orthomolecular Products.
Gary Powers is our owner.
Gary Powers from
He's actually from Wisconsin.
New York.
From
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, and he actually has an organic farm himself. He's
And
a
it-
pastor of a church, and we do manufacture all of our own products in our own warehouse
In Wisconsin.
in Wisconsin. Yes.